When I started my journey into the world of Jon boats and Jon boat fishing, the internet wasn't a thing. Getting advice for what to buy and how to build it out to suit my needs just wasn't readily available. So after years of learning the hard way with lots of time and experience, so from the entire team here at Tiny Boat Nation, here is our top 5 things that we wish someone would have told us before we got into Jon boats and Jon boat fishing. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I might do a bonus too. I don't know yet. How stable you're going to feel in your Jon boat depends on a variety of factors. But the biggest and most important factor in your stability is our number 5 piece of advice. Width is always better than length. While I whip out this tape measure to measure the bottom of my boat, go ahead and insert obscene comments here. Despite what all of the internet research says about hydrodynamics and buoyancy and blah, 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 real world advice, the wider your boat, the more stable it is going to be. When we talk about measuring Jon boats, they are always measured across the bottom at the transom. And my boat here is a 1648, and that stands for 16 feet long and 48 inches wide at the bottom at the transom. The most common measurements you're going to see on Jon boats for bottom width is going to be 36, 42, 48, and on up from there. So when you're new and looking for your first Jon boat project, the width is the most important thing that you should be looking for. A 42-inch wide or larger boat is going to make you feel a lot more stable and comfortable on the water than something skinnier like a 36. The length, whether it be a 10, a 12, a 14, or a 16-foot boat, is not going to play as much into the stability as the width. But a lot of it is going to depend on you and how stable you are, how well balanced you are out on the water. Some people, like Ryan, are just smaller in build and have really great balance out on the water. So for him, a 36-inch wide boat is completely stable and he feels fine in it. Versus someone like me, who's got a body built like a lumberjack that's fueled by those little Christmas tree cakes, I do not feel stable in a 36-inch wide boat. And it's not because the boat's not stable, it's because I'm not stable. But what we recommend for most people is starting with a 48-inch bottom. 48 is going to be the most stable for 2 people. It's going to make you feel the most comfortable, and it's going to give you a lot more room inside the boat for modifications for your build later on down the road. And bonus tip, if you're thinking about putting pods on your boat to increase your stability, you're already going in the wrong direction. Although pods look cool, they add 0 stability to the boat. Only way to increase the stability on a Jon boat is to make it wider, not longer. Pods have one purpose and one purpose only. It's for you got too much weight in the back of your boat, you need to make it float higher. That's what pods are for. One of the best pieces of advice I could ever give is that free boats are way better than boats that you pay for. Just like the free boat that we're giving away right now. If you head on over to our website, tbnation.net, anything that you purchase equals an entry into the sweepstakes. Something as simple as purchasing a hat, a t-shirt, a decal will get you entered in to win a brand new Sea Eagle Fish Gift 16. And we're doing a full build series on it here on YouTube. So if you want to follow along, make sure you click subscribe. This is also a great time to go check out the scratch and dent clearance sale that is going on right now. There is tons of options of things that have been returned, open box items, overstock, clearance. And it's a great time to save money on the things that you might need for your Jon boat build. Stuff is available only in limited quantities, so if you want it, you better get it now before it's gone. Okay, back to actual Jon boat building advice, which brings us to our next piece of advice that no one ever gave me that I wish they would have. That's going to be all about weight distribution. One of the most important things that's so often overlooked in Jon boat builds and setting it up for fishing is where you're going to put all this crap in your boat and how it's going to affect how your boat handles. The very first thing everybody does when they get a Jon boat is start thinking about all the crap that they want to put in it. I want a huge live well, I want a ton of batteries, I want lights everywhere, a bow mount trolling motor, a big outboard on the back, rod storage. I want all these compartments for tackle storage. But newbies to Jon boats always forget to stop and think, what's going to happen when I put all this stuff in my boat? So let me give you a little piece of advice that no one ever gave me to help you avoid spending a ton of time building out your boat just to find out that you've got all the weight in all the wrong places. The first thing you need to do is gather up all of the stuff that you want to put in your boat. Your batteries, a full gas tank, all of your fishing gear, your trolling motor, your outboard. Put it in the boat and go get the boat out on the water. Just tie it up to a dock somewhere. Set all of your stuff out in the boat. Just kind of lay it on the floor or set it on benches, wherever you think that you want this stuff to be when you build your boat out. Have another person or a friend go with you and have them stand in the back of the boat where you're going to be driving from, and then have them go stand up in the front where you're actually going to be fishing from. Stand up on the dock and watch how your boat reacts to that person moving from the front of the boat to the back of the boat in the different positions that you're going to be in when you're fishing and while you're driving. You are instantly going to know where you have too much weight at and where you're going to have to move stuff around to make your boat balance well. It's also never a bad idea to have your boat loaded out where you think everything needs to be. Put your outboard or your electric outboard or your mud motor or whatever you're going to be running on the back. Put that on there and go take it for a quick spin and see how the boat reacts. The most common negative thing I see is that people will get everything set up in their boat, they'll take it out for the first run and find out that it porpoises really bad. The cure for that is moving more weight to the front of the boat to help balance it out when it's actually up on plane. Now this is the one that still just makes me want to kick myself for not thinking about because it's so simple. But next on the list of advice that no one ever gave me is to put the tools down and just go fish with it. Where you get a brand new boat, you're so excited to start modding it out, putting a casting deck, a rear deck, a casting platform, poling platform, seats everywhere. You just get so excited about modding this thing out and making it your own that you completely forget to go take the boat out and just test it before you do anything. We had a lot of people reach out to us and go, hey, I want to build this in my boat, but I'm scared about the stability, or I don't know if it's going to be set up the way that I want. Just take a time out for just a second. If you think you're going to want a 6-foot casting deck on the front of your boat, go find you a old used piece of plywood that's still in decent shape. Cut it to fit and just lay it across the front bench and across the front of your boat. Grab a couple fishing poles, go to the lake and fish on it for a few hours. You'll find out very quickly, just within a few hours of fishing on it, whether having a big 6-foot casting deck is going to be feasible in your boat. And not all John boats are going to perform like a bass boat does. When you see a bass boat, you see a lot of people fishing and standing and doing most of their work right up here in the first little bit of the boat. In a small or narrow John boat, you may not be able to comfortably stand up here without the back of the boat coming up out of the water unless you have a second person back there. Or what I see a lot is the front of the boat narrows down, and this may not be a very stable part of the boat to stand on and fish for hours on end. And I've found that true in not only my boat, but in quite a few boats. And as you can see, I have my seat way back here towards the back of the deck because this portion of the deck is where the boat is the widest up front, and I feel more comfortable and more stable casting from back here than I do way up on the front of the boat. And remember, there's no rules that say you have to fish off the front of your boat. We find a lot of people actually like fishing out of the back end of the boat. And for me, in a lot of situations, that's what I do. That's why I have this cooler with a seat on top of it so that I can move wherever I need to be depending on what kind of fishing I'm doing. If I'm sitting back relaxing and doing some catfishing one day, there's no reason for me to be right here at the back of the boat where all the rods are. I can slide this back here, give me some distance between me and the rod so I can look and see what all my lines are doing. But when I go out pan fishing for bluegill or crappie, I'm going to move this seat back here so that I've got plenty of room to cast and not worry about hitting my front seat or anybody else who's standing up on the front deck. So go out and just try it before you ever even pick up a tool and start modifying your boat. You never know what you're actually going to like until you get out there and try it. I could have saved myself a ton of time and energy in just about every single boat build that I've ever done had I come to grips with this earlier in my John boat career. And that is, a John boat is not a submarine. It will never be a submarine. And no matter how many measures that you take to prevent leaks and seal rivets, 3M5200 on all the holes and through hole fittings, it will never ever be a submarine. So take the idea of having a leak-proof boat, bunch it up, and just throw it out the window. It very rarely ever happens. And I can't tell you how many hours I have spent trying to fix every little leaking rivet, seal up every last through hole fitting, coating the bottom of the boat to try to make it as watertight as possible. And in reality, after a lot of experience and testing, because I actually did sink this boat that I'm standing here talking in front of today, what I come to find is that you can leave the drain plugs out of this thing and float all day long, as long as you have a decent bilge pump. And if you got a really leaky boat and you're really super extra worried about it, just get 2 bilge pumps. Because I guarantee you that the cost of 2 decent 800 gallon per hour or 1100 gallon per hour bilge pumps off of Amazon is a lot cheaper and less time consuming than everything you're gonna do to try to seal up leaky rivets, replace broken rivets, putting steel flex on the bottom of the boat, and all the other crazy stuff and measures that people go through to try to waterproof their boats. It's a boat, not a submarine. If it's got a little leaky rivet and you're too scared to fix the leaky rivet, then just put a bilge pump in it and keep it moving. Now, we have a ton of videos on how to fix leaks in Jon boats the right way, whether that be rebucking a rivet, replacing a rivet, sealing up holes, fixing through hole fittings. Our YouTube channel is a library of how to fix all these small issues. Here's a bonus tip for leaks. There is no goop, slop, band-aid, tape, flex seal, anything on this planet that will permanently fix any leaks or cracks in your Jon boat. But no matter what you do, don't waste a second of your time or a dime of your money trying to fix a leak with anything in a tube. And the number one most important thing that no one ever told me when I got into Jon boats, and it is by far the most overlooked thing by everybody who buys a Jon boat, and that is the importance of your trailer. Nothing will make a fishing trip more miserable than having to load up a boat onto a crappy trailer that does not fit your boat. And that's if you even make it to the lake with an old crappy trailer, whether that be from a cracked weld or a boat that doesn't fit the trailer right. I've had several boats in the past that had really crappy trailers that I didn't take the time to fix or repair, and it made me not want to go fishing because all I could think about every time I wanted to go fishing was how miserable it was going to be when I had to put the boat in the water off of this crappy trailer and how difficult it was going to be to get back on and get back home. When I built the boat that you see behind me, I probably spent as much time on the trailer as I did on actually building the boat. I basically rebuilt the entire thing from the ground up. I extended it to make it easier to get in the water and not have to get wet. Anything that I thought was even remotely close to being not brand new, I replaced it. I made sure that the bunks fit my boat perfectly and that the boat wasn't hanging off the back of the trailer unsupported. So my advice to you that I wish someone would have gave me a long time ago is before you ever touch your boat, get the trailer in tip-top shape first and do everything you want to, and take the time to make the trailer the best that you can possibly make it, because it will pay off in the long run. Every time you take your boat to the water, it will be a much more enjoyable experience if you're not having to worry about how big of a pain in the butt your trailer is. Also take into consideration how much money you're going to spend fixing up an old trailer versus just buying a brand new trailer, especially if you wind up buying a Jon boat that is way too big for your trailer. In my instance, when I bought this boat was on a jet ski trailer. The amount of time, effort, and money that you spend to convert a crappy old trailer into something that's going to be usable long term may not be worth it. You actually may come out better in the long run to find a newer trailer that's been used a little bit and somebody's getting rid of, or buying a new trailer altogether. I've given away a bunch of bonus tips already, absolutely free. I should probably charge you for this one. I'm going to give you one more, no charge. Aside from an inflatable wrap that you're going to buy at Walmart, a Jon boat's the cheapest thing that you can possibly get into in the boating world. It's not a show car, so why would you put a show car paint job on it? Now, if you like a show car paint job on your boat, by all means, go for it. Nothing wrong with it. You have to keep in mind, you're going to be going places in a little Jon boat that you probably shouldn't be going in the first place. You're going to drive it into docks. You're going to hit stumps. You're going to lay down trees. You're going to hit submerged rocks that you didn't see in the water. You are more than likely going to abuse the hell out of your Jon boat. And that's perfectly okay. But you need to remember that no paint in the world is going to hold up to the amount of abuse that a Jon boat can take. You are going to chip it. You are going to scratch it. You are going to put a giant dent in it like I did right here. It's just part of it. So if you know you're going to use the boat, why waste a lot of time and money and effort into a really, really nice paint job? Again, if that's your thing and you really like it, do it. But for the majority of people, some Krylon spray paint, some Rust-Oleum, and just spray that thing whatever color you want. Build your Jon boat and go fishing. And in all honesty, that's what I wish I would have done with this boat, because even though this thing looks cool and it's got a very nice paint job on it, I use this boat a lot, and it's got a lot of scratches and dings and dents. And because I put such an elaborate paint job on it, to fix any of that damage also takes an elaborate amount of work to touch it up. Had I spray painted this thing brown and black, every couple of years I could have went to Lowe's or Home Depot, got another can of brown and black spray paint, and just sprayed it real quick, and it would look good as new. And it would have only taken me a few hours to paint this boat versus the 7 days that I spent to get this look. Oh, and I almost forgot one more little tiny little bonus tip. Anything you've ever wanted to know how to do on a Jon boat, we probably have a video on it. Our YouTube channel is basically one giant reference library of all the modifications that you could possibly make on a Jon boat. If you're one of our regular subscribers, here's a little sneak peek. What's coming up soon? Giant Joro spiders. I'm just kidding. We're going to be playing with a bass boat. We've got the finale of the duck boat project coming very soon, so stay tuned for that. Me and Mike got to finish our Fish Gift 16 so we can give those away. Mike's working on a 1436 project, and then I will be tackling that old ProCraft right there, if we can get it out of the woods. That'll be challenge number 1. That one's going to be one you're not going to want to miss.